Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Public Works Committee. It is March 3rd, 2026. I'm Ann Wennerstrand, and I'm calling the meeting to order at 7 p.m. And with me tonight, we have Vice Chairman Jim Freer. We have Councilmember Richard Dellinger, Councilmember Jan Degenshine, Councilmember Dewan Wiggins, and I give a warm welcome to everyone who's here this evening. And before I turn it over to Vanessa to introduce her staff that are here tonight for DPW, I just wanted to mention two things. March is Women's History Month, and last week I learned was National Engineers Week. So I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but I just wanted to acknowledge that, and also because we happen to have a terrific female engineer at the helm of this Public Works Department. And I just want to extend my appreciation to all of you engineers who are here tonight. So with that, maybe Vanessa, if you're online, can you introduce your staff?
I'm sorry, and
Do we have her?
she's actually having some issues with her
Oh,
audio, so she's trying to come back in.
she is. Okay, so let me see if I can go around the squares and introduce Paul Sotnick is here. Drew Berndelmayer is here. Daniel Stanton is here. And Tom Zabo is here. Vanessa's back. And anyone else? James Meehan is here. And Monique and Delene. And I think I got everybody. All right. So with that roll call, I'd like to move on to the public hearing. I'll read the item for public hearing. Public hearing tonight is for the honorary naming of Knight Street to Cutie May Jordan Way. The public hearing shall be conducted in order to hear all parties interested in commenting on the proposed honorary street naming and to take such action on said naming that the committee may deem advisable. And I'd like to open the public hearing. Do we have anyone to speak?
Miss
I
Laura,
see.
you're unmuted.
Good evening, Chair Wennerstrand, other council members and staff. For the record, my name is Diane Lauricella, 21 Little Fox Lane. Since I was planning to speak on the agenda, the regular agenda, I thought while we have this public hearing, I wanted to wholeheartedly advocate for Knight Street to be named honorarily Cutie May Way. I've heard a lot of great stories. I didn't personally know her, but I've heard wonderful stories. And of course, in deference to National Women's Month, I think it is quite fitting. But with that, I just wanted to say I think this is a great idea. I do not know who initially I guess, applied for this, and I hope they're going to speak today to explain more about her contributions to the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lauricella. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak in the public hearing? I see Andre Baker Jr. Could you please unmute yourself and state your name and your address?
Good evening. My name is Andre Baker Jr. I'm 84 South Main Street, the owner of Baker Funeral Services. And I've actually had the opportunity to serve on the Bridgeport City Council for many years, and when I was on the City Council, I had the opportunity to review all the street names, and I took that job very seriously. I had a lot of opportunity to look at individuals that was being honored based on the criteria of what we named streets under. Cutie May Jordan truly deserves this honor. She's done so many things in the community and much more. And one of the things that we enjoy and we want to see people names honored up on the top of those two subs is to understand really what they did and their contributions that they have contributed to the city of Norwalk and stuff. And this, what she has done over the years in the community, she has served very, very well and stuff. And as a suggestion, what we can do in order to be able to turn Norwalk into the historian, and as we have people walk around, is maybe what we should do is have some sort of QR code on the actual pole so people can pull up their history and they can understand exactly what individuals have done. So I urge you to make this street honored her in Cutie Mae Jordan Way, because she has definitely made her place in the city of Norwalk. And because of her, it's a better place. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your comments. Before we move on, I just wanted the record to show that Councilmember Darlene Young has joined us at 7:03, as has Councilmember Jesse Buccalow. And now I see Erica Foster Centeo.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm the Justice Minister at the First Congregational Church on the Green in Norwalk. And I just wanted to share Ms. Cutie Mae Jordan's contributions to our church alone. In 1993, at the request of our then pastor, Reverend Henry K. Jordan, she established a gospel choir and music ministry at the First Congregational Church. And under her leadership, the gospel choir became one of the most recognized and respected choirs in the city, frequently invited to perform at citywide events and churches throughout the region. And even after she retired in 2015, we needed someone, and she stepped in as an interim gospel choir director and got us back on track. And on September 12th of 2021, the First Congregational Church proclaimed the first annual Gospel Choir Appreciation Day, which was also known as Cutie Mae Jordan Day, in recognition of her lifelong dedication to teaching the Word of God through gospel music. And lastly, Cutie Mae Jordan represents the very best of Norwalk. She represents faith, excellence, mentorship, perseverance, and community leadership. And a street bearing her name would serve not only as a tribute to her extraordinary life, but also as a visible reminder to future generations of the power of service, music, and unwavering commitment to one's calling. So I do hope that we do vote in the affirmative to do that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. And I see we have Ilya D'Annunzio.
Yes. Good evening.
Please
I'm
state your name and your address for the record,
Oh.
please.
Ilya D'Annunzio, 5 Michael Street, Norwalk, Connecticut.
Thank you.
I have the pleasure and honor to know Cutie Mae Jordan through some fellow family members, and she's a true woman of God, and she just she shows her leadership, she shows her faith, and she just shows her excellence through the city of Norwalk. And it's a true honor and a true blessing for her to have this privilege and an honor to have her name be named after Knight Street.
Thank you so much for your comments. All right. Is there anyone else for public comment in the public hearing?
We have no one else raising their hands.
Okay. So then I'll close the public hearing at 7:09. And we will move into acceptance of the minutes. All right, this is for the regular meeting on February 3rd, 2026. Can I have a motion? Mr. Freyer, thank you. And if did everyone have a chance to review the minutes? Were there any comments, any corrections? Okay, seeing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes? Raise your hand.
Okay.
Mr. Wiggins, are you going to vote on the minutes?
I'm going to abstain.
Oh, abstain. Okay, so one abstention and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 affirmative. Thank you. All right. Now we will move into the public participation. Anyone from the public who would like to speak to an item on the agenda, please raise your hand. Okay, and we see Ms. Lauricella. Please go ahead.
Yes, good evening again, Chair Wenestrand, council members and staff. For the record again, my name is Diane Lauricella, 21 Little Fox Lane in Norwalk. Tonight, I will restrict my comments on the Public Works Committee agenda relating to, I guess it was page 55 out of 66 under other programs. It's under the discussion items. I guess it's letter B, where there are 66 pages of information. I wanted just to stress that, first of all, I am a professional waste management consultant and former investigator. I'm in the process of doing I'm checking out metrics as well as practices, as I am familiar with waste management professionals and also volunteers who are passionate about recycling and food waste management across the state as a member of several statewide ad hoc and not-for-profit groups such as Recycle CT Foundation, of which I'm a board member. Today, I wanted to focus on the bulky waste. I guess it's a slideshow. I believe, again, and I've said this before, we have missed opportunities when it comes to bulky waste. I just began listening to the Board of Estimate beginnings of their special meetings, talking about the circumstances and the crisis with our budget. I believe that instead of hauling away bulky waste, I think that we can train and teach our residences to be more discriminating as to what they throw away as waste, and instead take a look at what can be recycled. I do hope that what is picked up is pulled into the different waste streams or recycling streams, but I am not so sure that happens. So I'd like to hear more about that. I want to encourage recycling wherever possible, and in the near future, I'm going to revive the request that we form a swap shop opportunities, both pop-up as well as a permanent, and we have a year-long mattress collection center at Smith Street or some other place that the city owns. Instead, because mattresses are very expensive to haul away. And if we work with Bye Bye Mattress on an annual basis instead of the 2 or 3 times a year, I think we'll be saving money, and that's what we want to do. I Recycle also should be, instead of, I think it's kind of a gimmick. I know people, it's popular, but I do believe we could do better with having a company that is closer to Norwalk instead of all the way to Waterbury, which is where I believe I Recycle goes. And lastly, under Ed and outreach, social media is not enough. I do appreciate that we had some clever social media Instagram posts related to the Super Bowl, which I'm very pleased to have been a part of, and also lately the Valentine's Day flowers. I like that. However, it's just not enough, because if you miss that one post, that's it. And I do believe we need to go deeper and work with our media, and also have some of you be guests on Reels, have the mayor, have Anne and Jim and others actually go out to each of the districts and do more and be more creative about how we let people know about recycling and reducing our waste stream. So I look forward to hearing about the reports that you are going to hear in a moment. And I just wanted to lastly say that I just was informed that Tom Szabo has an education and outreach employee, even if she is part-time. And I would have appreciated knowing this, because I wouldn't have spent as much time trying to convince the city to put together a Super Bowl ad, which turned out very well.
You're over your
So I
3
really
minutes.
appreciate it, and I will close. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Lauricella. Appreciate it. Okay, and next in public participation, we have Kyle Jordan. Would you please unmute yourself and state your name and address.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle Jordan. I live at Dr. 28 Martin Luther King Drive, apartment 57 in Norwalk, Connecticut. Can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure I'm clear.
We can just speak up. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So I'm speaking on behalf of Cutie Mae Jordan. Can we still speak on her behalf?
You can go ahead and speak to that. Yes.
Yes. Just speaking on her behalf, I am the one who initiated. Um, she is my grandmother. And just looking at her life and everything that she has accomplished in the city of Norwalk, my family felt that it would be befitting to have her honored. Being that Ninth Street is where she first got her roots, where she first started at in Norwalk when she came all the way from Cape Charles, Virginia. We seen that street would mean so much to our family to have her name Cutie Mae Way, and we understand it's not being changed. The address is not being changed, but we understand that just seeing her up there would inspire so many children around the city. She started playing the piano at 5 years old. Her dad taught her how to play the piano, and literally she was self-taught. Even though he taught her like how to do do re mi fa sol la ti do. I'm talking like she's talking now, but she was self-taught. She persevered, and when she came up here, she had her family, but she also had her gift. And she always says that she doesn't have a degree, but that she has a GFG, which is a gift from God, and she was able to pour that into the community, and she helped so many people. Just looking at my grandmother's life, I was blown away by her resume because as a child growing up, my grandmother has children in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Mhm.
I am a child from the 90s. So I got a 60-year-old grandmother opposed to some people got a 50-year-old grandmother or 45-year-old grandmother. I didn't realize her impact until I actually got older and I started reading on her life and I started seeing how many people have been blessed by her life and the impact that she's had on the communities and all the gospel choirs that she has put together. And so many people speak about how she touched their life and how their life has changed because of her and how she was able to just speak life into them and teach them how to sing and build confidence in them. And I just said, wow, wouldn't that be awesome if we can get her an honorary street name in the city of Norwalk, just to show people that, hey, you can come up here, you can come to Norwalk, Connecticut. You may not be from here, but this is a city where you can come here and you can make it. You can shine, you can be bright in the city and you can share your gift with the community. Her gift, she's literally just giving it back to the community. She served so many people well. So I'm the one that initiated it. And I'm a Brian McMahon graduate. I love the city of Norwalk. Um, my family, we all play sports, but this is my grandmother right here we're talking about, and I just wanted to share that with you all that she has done so much in the city. And I know there's other people that's gonna be on here. She's sung at the Pentagon before. I mean, her accolades speak for themselves, but I'm just speaking from the heart right now. Her accolades are amazing, but I'm speaking from the heart. She's someone who encourages me daily. She encourages me daily, and I think it would be befitting just to have her honored in that way. So shout out to her. I know there's other people on here that's going to want to speak too. There's some people that don't know how to raise their hand because they're not as savvy technically, but they're here and they want to speak as well. But that's me. And uh, the mayor now, congratulations to Mayor Barbara. That's awesome. She was my teacher at middle school. She was my sixth grade teacher.
Sorry, Mr. Jordan, you're beyond your 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Mr. Jordan, did you say you have other people there with you who want to speak?
Yes, they are all here on Zoom. They just did not know how to raise their
Okay.
hand. So there's other people that they're on there. They just didn't have
Okay.
the whole technical piece to it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for speaking for them, and we appreciate your comments. And now we have Mr. Mac Allen. Would you unmute yourself and state your name and your residence?
Yes, my name is Mac Allen, and I'm actually a resident of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I served on the Ethics Commission in the city of Bridgeport. I'm one of the elders at one of the larger churches called New Vision International Ministries here in Bridgeport. And I felt compelled because I'm also married to one of the daughters of Cutie Mae Jordan. But I was compelled because there's never been a place I've went in the state of Connecticut that someone hasn't heard about Miss Cutie Mae Jordan and spoke so highly of her and the city of Norwalk. It's just I've never met someone that was such a magnet, and so I'm speaking independent of my wife and my nephew Kyle and the family, just as a minister, as a commissioner in the city of Bridgeport, a former commissioner, and as a person that recognizes the value of people such as Miss Cutie Mae Jordan, who has transcended the city in the sense that I've met at least 20 different individuals that said that if it wasn't for Miss Cutie Mae Jordan, they don't think they would either be alive or they would be somewhere in prison. That's a major impact. Individuals that said because of her training and teaching through the choirs, the many, many, many choirs she's raised in the city of Norwalk are now musicians or singers are leading other choirs or reaching out to the community youth because of what she's done. And so it's a great reflection on the city of Norwalk with such a thing as Miss Cutie Mae Wade, that the people that may not have met her but are being taught by someone that was under her tutelage to see, wow, that's this woman really impacted. And as someone said earlier, that it inspires others to say, hey, listen, it's a benefit and it's a value to being a servant in my community, to do things that uplift the city and not tear down the city, to bring recognition to the city for good things or great things. And so I just believe that as an outsider looking in, that would be a tremendous honor and accolade, especially for a 90-year-old woman that's still vibrant and strong. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, and next we have Sean Owens. You can
Yes.
state your name and your address, please.
Hi, I'm Sean Owens. I actually live in Suffolk, Virginia. Cutie Mae Jordan is my mom. And just piggybacking on Kyle, my mom has done a lot of great things, which included her being, she was asked to come and sing the national anthem at the Pentagon. I believe that was back in 2007. And also her contributions to Norwalk, she would go around and they would invite her, the Board of Education, to come and sing and play for the youth, especially the elementary schools in Norwalk. And she would go from school to school, sometimes during Black History Month, and she would go and perform and have the children sing along. And she did those things. She also would go and volunteer her time to sing at nursing homes, at the Jewish nursing home, Ludlow Commons. She sung at. She would also go to, it was a nursing home in Westport, and there were several others. I don't know all the names, but she volunteered a lot of her time just to give back to the people who are either less fortunate or just needed someone to lift them up. And she always has a word for everybody. So, which is always a kind word and an uplifting word. So I just wanted to add that in. She is my mother, but she's done so many wonderful things over the years. And I'm proud to say that she is my mom, and she's given so much to Norwalk. And to go back to Knight Street, my parents got married on Christmas Day, 1955. And that first month in 1956 in January, the first Sunday, she and my dad went to Bethel AME Church, which was on Knight Street. And that day they went up to the altar and they joined the church. So their beginnings started there in Knight Street. And we thought that that would be a great street to have her, to honor her with her name. So thank you for your time. And I hope you guys will approve for the naming of Cutie Mae Way. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I just wanted the record to reflect that Councilwoman Nicole Eady has joined, and Council Majority Leader Jalen Seed has also joined the call.
Also, I've joined.
And Jesse Buccalo. Is there anyone else who would like to speak for public participation?
We have no one else raising their hand.
Okay, very good. I'll close public participation and move on to new business. Our first order of business, item A, is to approve the honorary naming of Knight Street to Cutie Mae Jordan Way and vote whether we want to bring this to council. All right, and with that, I'll open up for comments. Council Member Young, please. Unmute yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Do we move the item?
I'm sorry, and
that's why I
may
had
I
my
get a
hand up to do
motion?
both.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I want to move it.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
reminding me. I'm still getting the hang of this.
That's all right. That's why we're all here together.
Okay.
So, I don't think there's much that I can say above and beyond what has already been said about a great woman that has left her mark on this city. And she's still around to continue to do so. And I count it an honor to be on this committee and to have this opportunity to just vote in the affirmative for Miss Cutie Mae Jordan, whose life, legacy, and love will live on well beyond these days here and will live in the hearts of so many people. And so I am thankful that as a city, we do have this opportunity to honor people who've touched the lives of so many people in different ways. And sometimes we look at people with their status and their degrees or all the things that we sometimes think are important and valid and relevant in naming things, buildings after people. But her heart and the love that she has for people goes beyond any of that. And so I just, I am all in favor of voting to move this forward.
Thank
Chair.
you, Councilmember Young. Councilmember Degenshine.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to redouble those comments, and I think the largest measure of a street name honoring is the inspiration that that person will have on the future generations of our community. And Cutie Mae Jordan definitely fits into that category. So I'm pleased to be able to vote in favor as well.
Thank you. Any other comments? Majority Leader Seed.
Thank you, Chair. And I'm not a part of this committee, but I just wanted to just kind of speak on Miss Cutie Mae. She's a great asset to the community, and it's really not much, like Miss Young said, that we could say that wasn't said by her family. However, I just wanted to highlight that that Miss Cutie Mae, she's somebody that a lot of times we say it takes a village to raise a child, but Miss Cutie Mae, she really raised the village. And personally, she actually was my grandmother's choir director. And that's just something that I always think about. And I remember the first time that I met Miss Cutie Mae. My grandmother is like, hey, this is my choir director, and she's somebody who mentors so many different people. She's also comforted so many people with her gift, her voice, during funerals, but also during celebrations. She's just somebody who's really a jewel to the community, and it'd be an honor for us to name this street and on Knight Street and the district that I'm proud to represent. So just thanks for this consideration and thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else from the committee who would like to, or anyone else who would like to comment?
I just want to bring, can you guys hear me? I'm sorry, I'm
Yes.
having a lot of technical issues today, so
Okay.
I have to be on my phone. I just want to remind everybody on the committee that because this petition is for a person that is still alive,
Yeah.
there is a little bit of a change in the rules for the ordinance. So you need to have 2/3 plus 1 of the majority of the council to pass that.
Right.
So I just want to bring that up to your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. I just wanted to say a couple things. I do not have the honor of knowing Miss Cutie May, but I have heard so much about her since this was brought forth to this committee, and I've talked to so many people about her and hearing from the family and hearing from folks who know her. I think she sounds like such an inspiration. I was really moved by something in her bio that on April 7th, 1968, which was 3 days after MLK was assassinated, she sang at a basically it was a gathering on the Norwalk Green of 3,000 people. And she sang the Battle Hymn of the Republic and MLK's favorite hymns, Precious Lord and We Shall Overcome. And I just got such a picture in my mind of what that day must have been like. So to me, this connects to our history, connects to the future. And I will definitely be voting affirmatively to send this to council. Is anyone else would like to make a comment before I call for the vote? Okay, so seeing none, all in favor of moving this to full council? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And do we have Councilman Wiggins vote?
Yes.
Okay, so that is unanimous. Thank you. We'll be moving this to council for full vote. All right. So moving on in new business to item B, I am going to read number 1 and 2 together. Number 1, authorize the mayor, Barbara C. Smith, to execute an agreement with Yield Industries, LLC, for City Purchasing Department Project 4489, Project BR 2026-1, Rehabilitation Project for Bridge Number 102-025, Bonnybrook Trail over Holy Ghost Fathers Brook, and Bridge Number 102-029, Bonnybrook Trail over Holy Ghost Fathers Brook, for a sum not to exceed $334,350, accounts noted. And item 2, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract with Yield Industries, LLC, for City Purchasing Department Project 4489, Project BR 2026-1, Rehabilitation Project for B Forge Bridge, number 102-025, Bonnybrook Trail over Holy Ghost Fathers Brook, and Bridge number 102-029, Bonnybrook Trail over Holy Ghost Fathers Brook, for a sum not to exceed $33,435. So may I have a motion to move this item? Okay, Vice Chair Freire, thank you. So this is about 2 bridges that are going to be that have been identified for preservation and rehabilitation, and I believe we have Mr. Meehan to speak to this.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Winstrom. Yes, there are 2 bridges that we are looking to repair on Bonnybrook Trail Road, and we have recently advertised for construction for these 2 bridges as a single project, and we have received a low bidder. They have demonstrated that they appear to be responsible. We've checked their references, and we'd like to move this to council to perform structural repairs on these 2 bridges.
Okay, thank you for that description. Were there any questions from the committee before we move to vote? Mr. Dellinger?
Yeah, I just would like to ask, what exactly are the repairs? What does it involve in terms of those 2 bridges? I mean, just a little bit more detail.
Sure. Yes, there are a few structural repairs along the head walls of each of the bridges. There's a procedure called repointing where some stones are actually out of place. They have to be reset, reconfigured. There's areas that the topography has to be regraded as well, and also the guide rail that's on top of the bridge. I believe it's cable guide rail which is deteriorated. At the time, we're going to be replacing that with Merit guide rail, which is steel back timber guide rail. So that's
and one other question: could you just tell me about the funding? Is it grant funding or is it capital?
No, this is capital funding. Yes.
Okay.
Out
Thanks
of our
for
structural accounts.
right.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Dellinger. Anyone else with a question or comment? Yes, Councilmember Degenshine.
I was just wondering if there's anything historic in nature of the two bridges that should be pointed out.
No, there's nothing that we're aware of any of historical significance of either of those. This is a basic structural repair.
Thank you.
Okay. And with that, any other questions or comments before I call for the vote? Okay. All in favor of these items, please raise your hand. And Councilmember Wiggins, thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to item C.
Chair,
Yes.
I think I see 18 people still on. I don't know if you just
Oh.
want to say to the family what the next step will be.
Oh,
So that they don't, have to sit and listen to this. I mean,
okay.
they're welcome to stay, but if you want to just share that.
If they want to hear us taking votes on the
Yeah.
bridges, and
It's always good to have people.
yes. So the next, thank you, Councilmember Young. The next step is we will be moving this to the full council for a vote. I believe that will be on this upcoming council agenda, which is Tuesday night. We will be looking for a 2/3 plus 1 majority vote for this, as Ms. Valadares explained, because Ms. Cutie Mae Jordan is still with us. And that is how the rules work with voting for an honorary naming of someone who is still with us. So we hope that you will come to Chambers on Tuesday night, and you will have a chance to speak in public participation to the item. Did I miss anything?
I think that's good, just so they kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's good
All
too.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So item C of new business, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract between the City of Norwalk and Alcade Inc., DBA A&J Construction, for project PM 2025-2, paving at various locations, LOCIP reimbursement for a sum not to exceed $215,000. And I believe this is pertaining to finishing pavement and some work at Grumman and Newtown. So I will ask for a motion. All right, Councilmember Degenshine, thank you. And I believe I'm turning this over to Jim again.
Thank you, Ms. Renstrom. Yes,
Okay.
So as most of you know, we did perform a lot of work on Grumman Avenue this past year. A lot of sidewalks and repaving, a lot of drainage structures, and we were not able to finish the job down by the corner by the intersection of Newtown Avenue because that's within Connecticut State right-of-way. At the time, we were not issued the permit from them, which we needed to complete the work. So the contractor at the time had to demobilize and go. So we were just basically looking to finish the corner work, basically, of Grumman, and involving installation of some handicap ramps, a little bit of sidewalk, and just make everything coincide when it connects into Newtown Avenue.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments, any questions? Did I see Mr. Dellinger? Did you raise your
No,
hand?
sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, thanks very much.
Okay.
I was
Any
scrolling.
comments? Mr. Meehan, I have one question on this. Can you explain what the LOCIP reimbursement refers to? Or is that a LOCIP?
Yeah. That is a state grant
Okay.
based on various paving that we do. It tends to be an annual grant that's a given amount. The percentage and amount varies each year, and we receive money for them. So we just try to utilize that wherever we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so if there are no other questions, I'll take the vote on this. All in favor? 2, 3. Okay, that looks unanimous again. Thank you very much. And moving on to item D. Again, I'll be reading these two items together. Item D1, authorize the mayor, Barbara C. Smith, to execute an agreement between the City of Norwalk and Burns Construction Company, Inc. for project bid number 4493, project RD 2026-1, roadway paving and sidewalk installation for Roten Avenue and Pine Point Road, McKinley Street to Nearwater Road, for a sum not to exceed $1,203,301.25. And then the second part, number 2, accounts noted. Number 2, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract with Burns Construction Company, Inc. for project bid number 4493, project RD 2026-1, roadway paving and sidewalk installation for Roten Avenue and Pine Point Road, McKinley Street to Nearwater Road, for a sum not to exceed $180,495.19. And the accounts are noted. May I have a motion for this item?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Dellinger. And I think I'm tossing this over to Mr. Meehan again.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Yes. So as some of you may know, we've recently completed major drainage work on Roten Avenue. The area has received a lot of flooding due to its proximity to the wetland area. We were hoping to pave the road some time ago, but we're not able to do that until the drainage work was actually complete. So now literally last week is when they finished the majority of the drainage work. Now we're looking to both pave the road and as part of Complete Streets Ordinance, actually also install sidewalks to help people walk down to the beaches down there. So we're looking for the construction itself. We're hoping to begin in April with completion sometime in September.
Wonderful. Okay, and I see 2 hands up. I believe Councilmember Degenschein was first and then Councilmember Dellinger.
I just wanted to confirm with Mr. Meehan that the prices of the bids were looked at and that they are in line with immediately prior prices per square foot for the work that is being done, that we're not looking at something that is extraordinarily low or extraordinarily high.
No, the estimates of this particular bid, to begin with, the contractor that has won the lowest bid, I should mention, Burns Construction has done work for the city. They tend to be a very reliable contractor. We've always been satisfied with their work, and they've given a bid that's slightly lower than what our own estimate was. So we always review, as a matter of policy, we always review any bids coming in, specific items, and we want to make sure there's no discrepancies. And my staff has reviewed this, and we have confirmed everything seems to be in place. So we would like to move this to get to a contract then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Dellinger and then Vice Chair Frere.
Thanks very much. Just a question again about funding. It's a pretty large bill, $1.3 million, something like that, and the whole budget thing. Can you just give us an idea again of where the money's from, where it's coming from, grants or?
Yes, this is capital funding. We are taking funding from 2 main sources: our annual paving contract, our annual paving accounts that we're funded to capital projects, and also our sidewalk accounts as well. We've just, as I stated, we've recently completed our drainage, so a lot of that was out of our drainage account, plus also some green infrastructure account has been used as well for the recent work, because we are installing green infrastructure in the area. And so various sources with our own, but it's all capital funding.
Thank you.
Okay. Vice Chairman Frere.
Thank you. I think I just like to point out that in the package, and forgive me, I didn't look at the package, but usually what happens is they will, um, Jim and his team will always put in the bidders on the job, and you can go back and see the three bidders, the three highest bidders, and you can see what they charged for those this job. The other thing I should mention too, that for new members of the committee, um, all of these projects, they're coming out of capital. That means that the capital budget has been authorized to put together X number of dollars for paving and sidewalks, and that as these items come to us, they're already been approved in the budget. So we still have the opportunity to say yes or no on them even though it's in the budget. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that
Yeah.
these aren't just things that come along and are not in the budget, and we've not gone through a rigorous bidding process before they come to us. So all of that really is in the background. If you're most of the time, and I forget, so don't hold me to it. If this is the first time that all that information is not in the package, fine. But normally it's all in the package. And as Jim says, you can see that these, in this particular instance, that they came in below what the engineer's estimates were to go out there. So Jim and his team will have an estimate of what he thinks this cost. Then it goes out for bid. Then they come back and take a look at the lowest bidder and determine whether that person should get the job. And in this case, they were below the lowest bidder, or below the engineering estimates. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, didn't want to take up too much time
That's
on it.
great. No, thank you for the clarification. The background is really helpful. All right. Anyone else? Questions, comments before we take a vote? Okay, Councilmember Buccalow, please.
I'll just say Roten connects to one of the streets I grew up on, and I've walked that when I was going to Roten school back in the day, and also there's a sidewalk that's needed there super badly from the beach to the school. So the road itself needs to be paved, but I just appreciate the efforts to make it a safer road, particularly in an area where there's high density of foot traffic and whatnot. So just throwing that in there as a personal anecdote.
Mm-hmm. Thank
I
you.
just wanted I had one more thing that I just wanted to add,
Mhm.
and I noticed that it's going to take place between April and September. And I just wanted to, and I should have mentioned this the other day when we were talking, but I should have mentioned that this is a very, very high traffic area. In addition, on that road, on Roten, you've got two beach clubs and the Rowaten's public beach. And so during the summer months, from Memorial Day through Labor Day, it's going to be very, very heavy traffic. So if it's at all possible if we could load up the work in April, beginning of April, and I understand, what the priorities are, but it would be really helpful to either do it at the back end after Labor Day or before Memorial Day when we have the
Yes.
real traffic flows.
And just to add, Mr. Ferrer, to add to what you said there, we are actually scheduling the contractor to start down at the bottom by Nearwater Road and work their way up in order to accommodate as much of the beach traffic as possible. So that's and everything is weather dependent, but that's what we're scheduling. The water company will be doing some work. We'll be coordinating with them up by McKinley, but everything we're going to do our best to accommodate all beach traffic.
Great.
And Councilman Buccalow will be out there inspecting it as
Yeah.
often as possible.
Working from memory, from childhood memories.
I'll
Mr.
have the parents out there to inspect everything. Don't worry.
His childhood memories aren't that long ago.
So you mentioned, Mr. Meehan, the green enhancements, the green infrastructure. Can you say a little bit more specifically about what that is? And
Yes, much of our infrastructure, drainage infrastructure, involves the use of actual structural items, catch basins with piping systems that going to various sources. Wherever, if we can, we try to use occasion natural resources. There's a recently installed infiltration stone swale in the area, and that's going to be it's a very problematic drainage area. So a lot of it, even though we are utilizing as much of the existing infrastructure and replacing it wherever we can, upgrading to whatever size we can, we are limited by the simple laws of gravity. Water can only flow downhill. So with that, we have a double benefit of using green infrastructure, which doesn't have to involve construction of any new actual concrete or steel structures, but it also enhances the actual drainage situation, which alleviates at least some of the flooding in the area. Which, if we can get it off the road, that's helpful. So there, we see an infiltration swale alongside between McKinley and Crockett on the wetland side. That is our new infiltration swale, which is going to be collecting water from the road.
okay, great. And were there also
Do
going to be
you
some
wanna-
trees? I'm sorry, some
Yeah, I was
trees
gonna
and some
say-
other enhancements there.
Yes, there will be some at the end of the project. We are going to be replacing some trees that we would have to have cut down in order to get this in there.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
So
All
it's
right.
not going to look like it looks now.
Well, construction is never pretty, but at the end, everything always looks good. With
Yeah,
much
it
of our
looks
stuff
real
there,
good.
we always try to make the things look good at the end there. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's always hard to look at that during construction.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so if there are no more questions or comments, I'll call for the vote on this item. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, and Councilmember Wiggins, thank you. That is unanimous.
Takes a couple seconds. I don't know why.
I know. That's why I keep calling on you. Sorry.
Yes.
All right. So moving on to item E, I will also be reading 1 and 2 together. Number 1, item E, number 1, authorize the mayor, Barbara C. Smith, to execute any and all agreements and instruments necessary to acquire drainage easements for the city of Norwalk from property owners located at 13 Heather Lane and 15 Heather Lane per drainage easement map 13 Heather Lane and drainage easement map 15 Heather Lane. Number 2, referral to Planning and Zoning Commission for review and report. Acquire a drainage easement for purposes of maintaining newly installed storm drainage per drainage easement map 13 Heather Lane and drainage easement map 15 Heather Lane. May I have a motion, please? Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Freer. And I believe I'm going to be turning this over to Mr. Stanton to speak to this.
Good evening, everyone.
Item-
My name is Dan
Thank you.
Stanton. I'm one of the senior engineers. I'm going to be celebrating my 5th year with the city in a week and a half. So I'm glad to meet the new faces and explain the process to you here. So what this is basically required by Connecticut General Statute, where a municipality under what's Connecticut General Statute 824 referral requires acquisitions to be reported on by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Ultimately, with a positive report from the Planning and Zoning Commission that meets, monthly as well, that then the mayor would need to execute agreements for that. So that's why the 2 motions that are before you show that. This then would be placed before the council to officially approve that.
Okay, thank you. So this is really for the easements, and this is following the drainage work that was done there to mitigate the flooding at these properties on Heather Lane.
Yes.
Okay. So any committee members, questions or comments for Mr. Stanton? Thank you, Mr. Stanton, for explaining that. All right, Councilmember Mr. Dellinger.
Yeah, I know this was a little this street is controversial because of the sidewalks, I think, or close to it, but I couldn't tell from the drawing exactly what these easements are or what they do. Can you just kind of push that a little bit further?
Right. So there was an existing easement in place between homes number 5 and 7 when the original subdivision was done that had a 24-inch pipe to mitigate the flooding. And in conjunction with our design team at Ty and Bond, we determined, and in, help from the property owners to mitigate the flooding, this connection added a larger diameter pipe through to George Avenue and then ultimately into Lockwood Lane and the original phase 1 of the drainage work on Lockwood Lane that Paul did a decade ago or more. So, right, we need this water to flow downhill, as Jim mentioned for Rowton. This was a connection to keep water flowing downhill. The property owners were great. This mitigates the flooding in that area that they received, several years ago from the back-to-back tropical storms. And previous to that, they've experienced flooding. And the idea being adding the larger pipe gives us more capacity to handle the storm events that we're seeing.
So the property owners in all cases are fine with all this stuff.
We've worked with them through, and then we'll meet with them further to execute agreements on the maps.
Okay.
So may I just clarify that this project is already completed? And of course, before we couldn't even start the project, we already acquired this easement. So what we are doing here, we are just really finalizing the record of the easements on their deed. Mm-hmm. So for us to be able to do that, we need to come in front of the committee and council for approval. Right. And also, as Mr. Stanton explained at the beginning, we need a 24 referral because it's a general state requirement. So I just want to clarify that the pipe is already in. We negotiate all that even before we start the project because it was critical to obtain this easement for the project to start.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All right, seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, and Councilperson Wiggins.
In favor, I couldn't get the button.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's unanimous. And that will go to council. Thank you, Mr. Stanton. All right, so moving on to item F, authorize the mayor, Barbara C. Smith, to execute a second amendment to the February 6th, 2024 agreement between the City of Norwalk and AI Engineers, Inc. for project PSC 2023-1, on-call surveying and mapping services. The amendment is to extend the agreement for a period of 1 year at a sum not to exceed $200,000. Can I have a motion for this? Okay, Councilperson Dellinger, thank you very much. And so my understanding, this is for surveying services contracted. And I believe Mr. Meehan is going to speak to this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So yes, we require annual surveying services. We do not have an on-staff licensed surveyor in our department, so we contract out our surveying services. We have initially started a contract with this particular company, AI Engineers, a couple of years ago, and I believe it's 2024, with the option to extend it for 2 additional years. We've extended it last year. We would like to continue again as well this year. We are definitely in need of their services. They do a very good job, and they have been one of the lower rates for consulting firms that we have retained.
That's great. And I'm Councilmember Young. Yes.
Oh, sorry, Chair. And so the extension for this year or the contract for this year is $200K. Was that for the last year as well? Has that gone up or have we remained the same?
When they made their initial proposal to us, it comes with a inflation rate for each year. So they gave us a quote for particular services. for the beginning year, the second year, and the third year as well. So this particular prices that we are quoting on are based on ones that they submitted 2 years ago.
I just want to also clarify one thing, Ms. Young. We pay them pretty much on an hourly rate. So what changes every year is an hourly rate. What we put on is this $200,000. It is really a guess number based on what we predict that will be the amount of work that we're going to be needing. Sometimes we ended up having a little bit of leftover from one year to the other. Also, we share this contract with TMP. Some of the projects that they will be doing, we ended up using this contract with this PO for also to be able to do some of the surveying, some of those projects. So that's why we come up with a $200,000 based on what we did last year. We know what we're going to be needing surveying on the coming year based on what we request on our capital request for projects. And that's how we come up with that number.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Questions or comments? All right, seeing none, I will take the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, and I see that is also unanimous. Thank you. Okay, and thank you, Mr. Meehan, for giving us the information and speaking to so many items this evening. Appreciate it. All right, we are moving on to reports. First, do we have Mr. Torrey here for the tree report?
I don't think that he is here today because unfortunately he wasn't feeling well.
Okay. So, Vanessa, who will be?
I can kind of just give an overall.
Okay.
This is the tree report. We put it on every month. Of course, January is not one of our biggest month. I believe we have the summary there that we ended up addressing 18 trees. And most of the trees that we ended up taking down were pruning really due to safety during the winter. Sometimes with the high winds and all the storms that we had, those are the ones that usually made the list. So I'll leave up to you guys if you have any particular questions, but I believe that the report that he submitted is complete.
Okay. And I recognize that these are the high wind events in January 16th, January 18th, where there was some debris cleanup. And I'll be curious to see in the February report what happened with these last storms that we had. That would be on the next month's report.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions about the tree report? Comments? Okay. So moving on, we have Mr. Zabo with the Municipal Solid Waste and Recycling Report. Take it away.
Everyone. So I'll start with our solid waste and recycling report. That's looking pretty steady. Our curbside recycling tonnage is down 20%, which seems a little on the higher side for what we've seen over the past 6 months of our sort of new collection program. But I think it's still within our range, and it'll take us like maybe a full year to really see what we'll have for steady numbers going forward. And then we can sort of review those and make sure we kind of stay on the right track and continue to increase our recycling rates.
Okay. Councilmember Young.
Hi. So do you have any, I don't know, idea why it's down, the recycling has been down that you all can think of, or is it just what it is, kind of?
I think it's hard to predict with, I think this will be the 6th month of data from our new collection system.
Okay.
And it seems like it really has been slightly turbulent. Sometimes it's, 12%, 15%, 20%. And I think through the whole year, hopefully we'll get a decent average. I don't think we'll be negatively impacting our recycling significantly. So hopefully we'll have a well reflected recycling rate for maybe like a longer term average.
Also, Ms. Young, let me bring to everyone's attention that we roll out the new program as of July 1st, and we are not serving as many units as we were before. So part of the program also, we reduce the number of units. So for instance, particularly on the recycling, we are not anymore collecting from commercial. So that's why we're seeing also some change on the amount of recycle that we are collecting under collection. So although we are still comparing from last year, these numbers are not realistic, as Mr. Sable stated, because the baseline is not really true. I think that we need at least a good year, more than a year on the new program, so then we're going to be able to compare apples to apples.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's not only
Thank you.
the houses, but I mean, there were a lot of apartments. If you had less, in many cases, you had 4 apartments in a building. Those are no longer collected, so that has a bigger impact. So that all of those were classified as commercial, not were, but they should have been classified as commercial. And we were collecting them as recycling clients. So that's a big chunk that is taken out of that.
Yeah. I just had one question or comment on that, and I don't know if I'm reading the numbers correctly, but is it also possible that more people are bringing, because we're not picking up recycling in the condominiums and such, are more people bringing their recycling to the transfer station? Because it seems like that number has gone up from last year.
Yeah, I think we've definitely seen a slight increase from that. And then I think for January, it's a lot of like sort of the post-holiday Christmas time, like large cardboard boxes and things like that. I think that's where we see our biggest spike in recycling at the transfer station from.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Any other questions? Are you going to speak to the food scrap program metrics
Yeah,
as well? Okay.
So the food scrap program has also been running pretty steady. Rowayton continues to be a big contributor. We actually had to add extra stops down there for the pumpkins, and it seems like it's sort of continued to roll on through the holidays. So it's great to see that level of participation in the program. On to other programs. March will be our first bulky waste collection month for Zone 1. That's sort of the northeast portion of the city. So far, we've had about 70 residents sign up for it, which is on par with last year. It seems to be usually our slowest one, and I think especially this year with like a lot of snow, it's still very cold out. A lot of residents aren't really thinking about spring cleaning yet. So I think that should run well again. And then, of course, we have our iRecycle event coming up. Usually our March event is very popular. We have a lot of residents hold their cans and bottles all winter, and then bring them to the March event. And then, of course, we have all of our social media efforts included as part of support for all the recycling and waste programs.
Yeah, I saw the Super Bowl one and I thought that was really good. I know that we had public input on that as well. Ms. Laura Sella mentioned it in her comments. And I love seeing that type of outreach to the public and education, and the statistics on the amount of food that's thrown out or wasted on the Super Bowl is really pretty staggering. So I thought that was a really effective social media post. Councilman Dellinger.
Yeah, I agree about the post. Valentine's Day flowers too was one of them. I think you're very good. I didn't have any to contribute there. I don't know, but no. A question I have is actually Zone 1. Where is Zone 1? Where is that when you talk about the city?
So Zone 1, sort of like if you could cut the city into 4 quarters, it would be the northeast portion, sort of above Westport Ave, and also east of maybe like Route 7 and the Norwalk River.
And how do you advertise that? I haven't seen that. I've seen the other ads, but I'm just curious, how do you get that word out to that zone?
So for that one, we have it posted, I think, on the city's Facebook and social media. For I think about a week, it was pinned at the top of the page.
This is tomorrow, right? Because it happens tomorrow.
So it happens for the whole month. Residents for Zone 1 would have had to call 2 weeks ago up to this past Friday to have their collection scheduled. We also pushed it out to the some of the local newspapers, picked it up. I think that's been probably the most popular way. We did advertise the program when we did the initial new cart rollout. Everyone who got a new garbage cart should have gotten a sort of a whole pamphlet on all these programs that Win Waste will be operating. So those are our main avenues of advertisement for that.
Good, thanks.
Tom, do we have is there a database for homeowners that we could access either through maybe the tax collection or the assessor's office, where we would get an address or an email address that we could send directly to targeted areas like that section?
Usually, actually, we do have something similar that any resident can sign up. We have a service that we provide that if the person signs up on the website, they can receive calls or emails related to a certain service. So, and you can pick to decide if you want to get something related to solid waste. But we do not have yet the option to blast emails to every single resident when we are launching a program. We are not doing that yet. But
I wouldn't do it
that's
to the whole, not to the whole city, but to those targeted areas like the district, whether zone 1.
most just so everybody understands, we have an extremely successful bulky waste program to the point that sometimes we have to add extra days. On average, last year, we are doing by each zone over 200 stops, what is quite of a big number on bulky waste. And also, I just want to remind everybody that there is a very high cost associated for the bulky waste on the city side. So I believe that most of the people, they are already aware about the program. We understand that customer service always gets some calls already asking when we're going to be open to schedule their collection. So we, based on the numbers that we see, we definitely can say that is a very popular program.
Okay. Any other questions about that? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Szabo, for the report and the update. And I think item C, ongoing projects status. Vanessa, did you want to speak to anything?
Well, Mr. Meehan is
I'm sorry.
the one that
Okay.
Yes.
Mr.
So,
Meehan?
yes, thank you, Mr. Strand. Yes, we, as you could refer to pages 64 to 66, there's a listing of our ongoing projects at the moment. Not a lot of construction going on right now. I could go through these one by one, or if anybody just simply has questions, I could point out particular projects that people might be concerned of. So,
James, I did have a question, if you don't
yes.
mind. Mostly about the one about Broad River. It still intrigues me about where how the flooding, almost a map of where this flooding is, or especially near Fox Run Road, and that's just such a far distance away from Broad River.
Yeah.
Mr. Gallagher, what about if maybe you can come one day to our office, because this is such an extensive project. This watershed is big. We did a full presentation to the council about maybe a
2 years
year and
ago.
a half, 2 years ago. Thank you. And I think that it's easier. We are happy to answer any questions related to it, but we and of course this extends to more other members of the committee. We are happy to go over. We want to also maybe show you guys how we identify the areas that are prone to flooding. We map every single call that we receive, particularly during major storms. So I think that will be easier if we invite you guys to come over, or if you prefer, we are happy to put a presentation to the committee in the next few months, if that is better.
I can do either. That's fine. So yeah, I just like to.
Just let us know, and then we'll be able. I think that you're gonna have a much better idea of what we are talking about if you understand the full project.
Perfect.
Chair-
Thanks very much.
Great.
Chair,
Yes.
I like the suggestion about a presentation, because I think it just is beneficial to the other members and
Yeah,
the community. I mean, there's
I think so.
always
Yes, we can.
very abbreviated version, of course, but just I think it's always good
Yeah.
to do that.
Yes, we still have
That's
the presentation that was given. We could discuss that. This particular one that we're referencing here is only the first phase of the
Right.
entire project.
So what we're gonna do, I think that maybe for the next meeting, we're just gonna do a presentation about about the areas that are more prone to flooding, what we have been done. And then we're just gonna brush up a little bit on those two projects so they can understand. I'm happy to say that in the last few years, the last administration, and of course we can see that this one is also aligned with that, there has been a lot of investments, and the amount of complaints that we have been getting related to flooding really minimized a lot. And there is, again, I believe that we did over $20 million of investments in drainage. So we are happy to show what is the rationality behind, what are the areas that we choose, how we really take all the calls. We drive around the city during major storms to try to understand the behavior of the drainage and all that. So we're happy to do that presentation. We'll put on the agenda.
That would be great.
Next meeting, and then we can do a little bit extend and then explain particularly about Broad River. Okay,
Perfect.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments about the ongoing projects? If everybody had a chance to take a look at those pages in the packet. All right. I just want to make a couple of comments before we call for adjournment. It was literally just 1 week ago that we had this major blizzard snow event, and it's March. So I don't know what's happening with time, but I wanted to acknowledge Vanessa and your department once again for a really stellar response to the snow removal. And I know that you have one crew that's out there and working really, really hard for the residents and the businesses. And I just appreciate the residents who did pay attention to the snow emergency that the mayor called and moved their cars off the streets, because that really does make a huge difference in terms of the response that your department does. And I know it's a major effort, and I just wanted to acknowledge you and your crew.
Much. No, I have to say that, we have to, I think that we take for granted all the hard work that the drivers, the supervisors, the superintendent does to keep everybody safe. Most of us stay home where it's warm, we're watching a movie or we are sleeping, and then they are working nonstop to make sure that we can get out, we can open the schools, we can have the libraries and all that done. I think that one thing that people do not realize, unfortunately, we do not have as many people working on public works. It seems a lot, but it's not. The last blizzard, just to give you guys a little bit of a perspective, we have 40 trucks out throughout the storm. We started we had 48 hours of operation. We have about 80 people working, considering the drivers. We also bring all our fleet. We have all mechanics. All the mechanics has to stay also at operations because, as I was telling BET last night, the trucks break, we have issues with the chains. We have problems with the blades that needs to be repaired. So we cannot lose any time. So we have to have the mechanics there that are also working around the clock to make sure that all the tools, the equipment, the trucks are back in shape so we can go out. It's very hard to plow with only one crew. And one of my biggest concerns is always the safety of my crew. And we have to make sure that they can rest. But at the same time, on a blizzard like that, we have to be very strategic on how we are resting them, because otherwise the blizzard can really be ahead of us, and that's what we cannot allow to happen. So there is a lot of planning that goes into it. I know that sometimes some people that live on the secondary streets, on the cul-de-sac, maybe they wake up and said, oh, DPW didn't even show up here yet. And there is a reason for that. We usually try to keep accessible all the main roads during a major storm. And after we get that under control is when we dispatch the rest of the crew to the secondary roads. So what we did that is we ended up resting only twice for 6 hours, the crew on the last blizzard. And then we also did a little bit of a change on how we deploy the Rex and Park staff, so we could kind of also do some of the sidewalks to give access to the schools. So I have to say that, thank you all the residents, because I think that they were very patient. They listened. To be able to remove the cars out of the street makes a big, big difference on the way that we can clean, and most important, make it safer for our drivers. It is, when you're in a major storm, the visibility on Monday was pretty much none. If you look at the videos, if you see from what the guys were reporting, and sometimes we have even to bring everybody back in because it's not even safe for them to be out. So I appreciate everybody, all the support, really as I said, is the team that makes it. And if everybody, we are getting like some emails now about giving them some compliments. If people are happy, just let them know. Send an email, call customer service. We pass along to the driver. It does make a big difference. Those drivers are really leaving their families behind to be able to take care of ours. So I am very flattered to be in charge of this group that is really made of amazing people. Thank you.
Yeah. Councilmember Dellinger?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I've ran out of salt myself, so I'm just curious. Where are we on the city in terms of running out of salt for the?
We pulled some strings, and we had kind of or maybe bring us up to another storm. We are trying to get a little bit more, about 500 tons. We just issued a PO yesterday. We're hoping to get some delivery, but the salt shortage this year was definitely a challenge, but again, I think that's why what people don't realize, everything that goes behind, Deline is here in the call, and she spent hours and hours and hours. I think that I make her call even Florida to see if we could buy any salt from them until we can kind of locate where we can find salt, how we work on be able to receive. And there's also the relationship that we have. We have relationship with other towns and other cities, sometimes even a private contractor. And that's what we use everything that we could to make sure that we have enough salt to at least get us through these last storms. Hopefully, we're still like tomorrow. I think that I just read the weather forecast. I believe that I need to call the crew early again because it will be icy and we need to open the schools tomorrow. So more salt on our end that we need to put it down for tomorrow morning. But I'm very hopeful that we're all, I heard that someone told me that we're going to hit 60 next week. So I have to believe that that is true. And I believe this hard winter will be behind us shortly.
Good luck.
Yeah, let's hope so. it's been an incredibly tough winter, and you all just rose to the occasion. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, just send Joe back to my street again. He stopped and cleared his truck, and we talked. And what a nice guy! He went out his way in my street. I was so delighted, actually, at his rapport, and what he did in our street was amazing. So you have a good crew.
Thank you. And you know, and you
He
guys
never
are
stops
able
at
to
my
meet
street.
them. You know, you guys always have the opportunity to meet them in person at our open house that usually we held between September and October. Because you know, people don't realize, but the person that is plowing the snow in the winter is the same one that is fixing the potholes, that are trimming the trees. You know, we only have really one crew, and they show up at the open house, at the Public Works open house, and they really take a lot of pride of what they do, and they are there to show their equipment and allow the kids to jump in the truck. So if you guys have the opportunity to come visit us this year, you know, you can let them know in person about the good work that you believe that they do, and it will be
I'll
very
look for him.
appreciated.
It's a great event. It's a really great event.
It's a really good time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, I think I'll call for the final motion.
To adjourn.
Okay,
To adjourn.
Councilperson Young, thank you. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank
Thank you. Have a good night.